But then I listened to his quote, and it changes everything.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Because he's almost admitting to us and himself that there may be a situation where it does not get to 100%.
For sure. I mean, that's
Okay?
all
Where
out.
he'll still play,
recognition.
he'll still try to give it the old college try, but now we're left, and the Toronto Maple Leafs are left to going, all right, not 100%, but is it 90? Is it 80? Is it 70? And if it looks like it's 70 or 80, buddy, you're not going to the Four Nations tournament. I'm sorry.
Kip, if it's 90, he shouldn't play in the tournament.
This isn't this isn't the Olympics.
So
This is the inaugural Four Nations
It's a
face-off.
made
here.
up new
whatever
event.
whatever your cutoff is on that percentage, anything less than 100 to the point where you're thinking
It's better.
on
It's better.
any given night he could disappear, he ain't going.
If you need to play 2 months of playoffs to win a Stanley Cup, and at any point you get hit wrong and it could get worse, you need to get it all the way better as soon as can be. If you win a Stanley Cup as the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, you are immortal. If you win the Four Nations face-off,
Yeah.
nobody
Presented
cares.
by Rogers TM.
Well, listen, it's going to be a fun tournament to watch. I'll watch it, and I'm excited about that. It doesn't matter compared
wish
to
it
a
was,
cup for the
I
Leafs.
wish it was that easy. And the one thing that I try to stress in my article today is that he does carry some weight.
It's the one thing I didn't agree.
being there.
Can I ask you two separate questions on that? And I think you alluded to this
Yeah.
maybe in our show on Monday. The first question I would have for you is how much pressure from the league would there be
Yes.
to have Matthews? And you alluded to that in
He
your
would
article.
feel it. Okay, I'm not saying that he won't listen to the Leafs and shut it down. But what I'm telling you is this tournament, this invitational, okay, it is not in September. It's not off season. They are shutting down $1 billion industry because they understand that it is that important for them to start building up a program of international hockey. The future of revenue out there is outside of North America, and they've realized it to the point where they'd rather put 4 teams in a tournament than wait for the Olympics. So there is a ton of weight on the superstars to still be there and to still sell this when they shut down the league for 2 weeks.
If you believe he's someone who has put his own interests ahead of the team at any point in terms of pursuing, goal totals or whatever, then you would still think he's someone who is concerned with his own situation. And for his own situation, the success of the Leafs and his role as captain is so much more important. And I think he would recognize that.
I'm not just disputing what you're saying.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but it doesn't take away the fact that it's on his mind.
Yeah,
He feels the pressure
sure.
of it. And it could also alter how hard he comes back, how hard he pushes. He could be in a position where, even if he's not comfortable, he'll push the envelope that much more just to get to that point.
Or
where
would he be more cautious now so he's able to play in?
I think it's the opposite. I think he's willing to let it all hang out in the next week to try to show everybody that he's good. It's okay. I can do this, and I can also do that, and I can come back and lead this team to a Stanley Cup. I think that pressure's there on him in the next 5 or 10 days, so he can go back to everybody and say, I'm good.
Yeah, you would think if he cared that much about the Four Nations, he might be like, I'm going to rest as long as I can to make sure I'm ready. The one thing that scares me
But you can't leave it out there that long, JB, to convince people that
who would need convincing if he didn't play and
the
said
Leafs
I can.
would need convincing. The Leafs would need convincing if he still looks like he did in the last month.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah,
Like,
Feb
what
10th
do you
is the
need?
start of it.
Two good games from Austin, 3 good games from Austin.
Yeah,
But I'm scared. If I'm the Leaf management, I'm scared to send him over there.
I'm scared of everything right now.
No.
If I'm them, I mean that.
No, not like this, because there's a mystery to this. This isn't a bad wrist, 4 to 6 weeks. This isn't a tweaked knee, 2 to 3 weeks. This is a bad back?
This is fly to Germany.
Question mark.
Two
Right?
things.
Is the mystery is we've rested him. It did no good. Now we're resting him again. We don't know if it's going to be any good or not.
No. And it's
This
all
isn't-
very
this isn't the-
concerning.
They're not risking the same thing they are with Marner to Team Canada.
No,
It's not the same.
No, it's not even close.
No.
It's not equal.
No, definitely not.
And this is their franchise player.
Which is why it's kind of a no-brainer. You know, I understand that there's pressure on him, but it's like you can't do this. The one thing that really makes me uncomfortable is, you know, his comment about how trying to stay in the best shape I can, but it's hard when you have to be inactive. He said something about not liking being someone.
Yeah.
He doesn't like sitting around. But you know he's coming back out of shape again. And not because he's lazy, but because to rest something, you have to rest. And that's not great for NHL level
So
cardio.
I think it played a part in his conditioning, played a part in coming back after 9 games.
And I also think your conditioning plays a part in getting hurt. I know when at the end of a shift, people get hurt way more because you can't get out of the way of the head, or you can't.
Yeah.
You just have that little bit less juice.
We're just
and
not thinking as right. As what, like your
you're
tired
right.
brain.
It's all tied. Yeah, tired brain for sure. So
Like we didn't see anything in terms of the power, the agility, the calculated risks that he used to take to try to score goals. Like it's
no, he was not the same guy.
So if they play him in the next couple weeks and he plays and he looks like he does, and he goes to the Four Nations face-off and he plays in the Four Nations face-off and looks like he's looked all year.
yeah. If
Yeah, okay. These are all ifs.
Candy and
yeah.
nuts.
I mean, that's all we got.
I think that's the most likely outcome. I think he plays in it, and I think he looks off.
So after that, if he's still not looking right,
Yeah.
then is when you start having the.
Oh
Drum
really?
roll, please.
To me, that's when you.
And-
LTIR.
LTIR
and you
goes.
send him, and he gets hurt even worse.
But
like,
I don't.
how do you look? How do you look? If you're the Leafs, how do you look?
well, I think it looks equally as bad on Matthews as that does on the Leafs. That if he goes and that he knows this is such a big risk.
No.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is
it can't
on
be.
the Leafs.
No, this
It
this
is
has
at
a
the end of
chance.
the day.
I heard
Yeah,
Bunkus
at the
talk
end
about
of
this.
the
It
day,
has a chance to flip his perception here, man.
The-
if he pushes
the
to
buck
go
stops
and
with
he's
the
not
decision
right.
makers of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
But that's been the problem with this organization since day one, Kipper, is that all the players have it's the inmates running the asylum. There's been no accountability. There's who is going to stand up to Austin Matthews in the organization and ever say, you're not going? No one's ever stood up to them about anything. They've gotten the biggest contracts they want. They've gotten everything they've ever wanted. No one's going to stand up to Matthews and be like, you
Wow.
can't go.
I love Berube, but the one thing he said the other day that kind of caught my eye was he'll tell us when he's ready. And it's like, that's great. You need that input from the player.
Yeah.
How's it feel? When someone's hurt, you say, what's your pain on a scale of 0 to 10? But it does feel like
I gotta think that Berube, Brendan Shanahan, Brad Treliving, they're smart enough to say that if we're worried about you and your situation, you're not going. That's it. It's over. It's over.
can you imagine they let him go and he got hurt there?
Yes.
I can't
Imagine.
I can't imagine it. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs, buddy. I can imagine it.
So
Head just falls
That's-
off. It's just like-
that's what can't happen.
No.
So I think, again, Austin, unfortunately, yesterday, he sped the process up to that conversation. This conversation that we're having, it will happen in 2 weeks. And I don't think there's enough time for Matthews to convince anybody that whatever's troubled him for 3 months will be in the rearview mirror, long in the
But
rearview
Kim,
mirror.
it's over a month. They don't play for 5-6 weeks. You think they need he needs that much good hockey before they could trust to let him go?
I don't think there's ever going to be a trust the rest of the season,
No.
is my point.
I don't know how it could be.
So,
No.
right? I just don't think it's after spending half the season plagued by this.
Mhm.
I don't think there could be a stretch of his back half of the season that will ease the doubt of Austin here,
Yeah.
gone tomorrow.
But after you LTIR him and trade for Elias Pettersson, he'll just be gravy when he comes back, and you'll be laughing in the playoffs.
Leafs all in on center hunt. Treliving's bold moves could shape Toronto's future. As a die-hard Toronto Maple Leaf supporter, it's hard not to get excited about the latest trade buzz surrounding the team. Brad Treliving, the Leafs general manager, appears poised to make some daring moves to strengthen the squad's depth down the middle. The whispers of significant trades are growing louder, and Elliot Friedman of Sportsnet has added fuel to the fire with his recent revelations. The situation has become even more pressing as the Leafs grapple with the ongoing upper body injury to team captain Auston Matthews. Matthews has already missed the last 4 games, and while the team is doing its best to stay afloat, the need for reinforcements at center is undeniable. Treliving, it seems, is ready to part with valuable assets to address this glaring need. The centers on Treliving's radar. Names like Jake Evans from the Montreal Canadiens, Brock Nelson from the New York Islanders, and the Philadelphia Flyers' Morgan Frost have been mentioned as potential targets. These players bring a mix of experience and skill, each offering something unique to the Leafs lineup. But, as Friedman highlighted during his appearance on the Fan 590's The Fan Hockey Show, the price tags for these players vary significantly. That's the number one thing he's, Treliving, been looking at all season, Friedman noted, emphasizing the GM's focus on finding the right fit at center. This isn't just about plugging a hole, it's about finding a player who can elevate the team to new heights. Priorities in focus. While some fans might argue that the Leafs need help on defense, Friedman suggested that Treliving's primary focus is elsewhere. They did a lot of their work in the off-season. I think now there's a question if they need to go find someone to play with Morgan Rielly, he explained. But, it's not their number one priority. I believe their number one thing all season has been, let's find another center. This clear focus on center depth speaks volumes about Treliving's strategy. The Leafs are willing to pay a hefty price, but there's a caveat: the player must come with term. Why term matters? The preference for term isn't just a strategic move, it's a sign that Treliving is thinking long-term. Rentals can be tempting, especially for a team looking to make a deep playoff run, but they often come with risks. One of the things I've heard is that if they're going to spend assets on a center, they would prefer it to be someone with term, Friedman revealed. This approach ensures that any trade made benefits the Leafs beyond the immediate future. Internal struggles and potential fits. Internally, the Leafs have tried to find solutions. Fraser Minton showed promise earlier this season, but the organization prefers to let him develop further with the Marlies. Meanwhile, the Leafs' current lineup has struggled to maintain its depth in Matthews' absence. One intriguing option could be Vincent Trocheck from the New York Rangers. With the Rangers facing their own challenges, could they be persuaded to part with a player like Trocheck, who already has chemistry with Leaf stars from last year's All-Star game? The road ahead. As the calendar flips to 2025, the trade deadline looms larger. Treliving's actions in the coming months will undoubtedly shape the Leafs' playoff aspirations and potentially their long-term future. For Leafs fans, the anticipation is palpable. Every move, every rumor, and every game feels like a piece of the puzzle. Treliving's willingness to swing for the fences shows a commitment to bringing a championship to Toronto, a dream that has eluded the franchise for far too long. Why this matters? This isn't just another season. This is a chance for the Leafs to solidify their identity as a contender. With Matthews expected to return and the possibility of a major trade to bolster the lineup, the team is poised to make a statement. Treliving's boldness, combined with the team's potential, makes it an exhilarating time to be a Leafs fan. Whether it's Evans, Nelson, Frost, or another unexpected addition, one thing is clear: the Leafs are in it to win it. So, buckle up, Leafs Nation. The journey ahead promises to be as thrilling as it is unpredictable. Treliving's moves could define the legacy of this team, and, hopefully, end the championship drought that has haunted Toronto for decades. The weight of expectations. The Leafs are no strangers to the pressure of the spotlight. Toronto is a hockey city, and the Maple Leafs are its beating heart. Every move made by management is scrutinized, every decision debated endlessly by fans and analysts alike. Treliving stepped into a challenging role when he took over as GM, and his willingness to take bold steps shows he understands the weight of these expectations. What makes this moment particularly critical is the team's current window of contention. With stars like Auston Matthews, Mitch Marner, and William Nylander in their prime, the Leafs are in win-now mode. The front office knows that wasting even a single season could have long-term repercussions. Auston Matthews, the catalyst. Matthews' injury has highlighted just how crucial he is to the team's success. While his absence has been manageable in short bursts, it's clear that the Leafs' center depth isn't built to withstand prolonged stretches without their captain. This has amplified the urgency to bring in another center who can contribute immediately and lessen the load on Matthews when he returns. The captain's recovery timeline is still uncertain, but Treliving's proactive approach suggests the team isn't willing to gamble on waiting too long. The goal is clear: solidify the lineup so that when Matthews is back, the Leafs are firing on all cylinders. The cost of boldness. The term significant assets isn't used lightly. Whether it's high draft picks, promising prospects, or even current roster players, Treliving is signaling that no stone will be left unturned. The Leafs' prospect pool is respectable but not overflowing, meaning any trade will have to be meticulously calculated. There's also the financial aspect. The Leafs are a team that operates near the salary cap, so any addition will require shrewd cap management. Could Treliving pull off a move that strengthens the roster without hamstringing the team's flexibility? If he does, it would be nothing short of a masterstroke. The fan base's role. Leafs Nation, passionate as ever, has already begun dissecting potential trade scenarios. Social media is abuzz with debates about who should be targeted and what assets should be sacrificed. Fans understand the stakes, and there's a growing sense of anticipation, bordering on impatience, for Treliving to make his move. It's a delicate balance for the GM. While fans demand immediate results, he must ensure that any deal aligns with a long-term vision of sustained success. The pressure to deliver is immense, but so is the potential reward. Comparisons to past GMs. Treliving's approach invites comparisons to his predecessors. Some GMs were criticized for being too conservative, while others were seen as overly aggressive. Treliving, however, seems to have struck a balance. He's willing to take risks, but only if they make sense for the team's broader goals. This calculated boldness is exactly what the Leafs need in this pivotal moment. If Treliving can pull off a game-changing trade, he could cement his place as one of the most effective GMs in recent Leafs history. The trade deadline looms. The NHL trade deadline is one of the most exciting times of the year, and this season promises to be no exception. With the Leafs actively shopping for a center, every rumor and report will be magnified. Other teams are watching closely, too, as any move by Toronto could shift the balance of power in the league. It's not just about who the Leafs acquire, it's about what message the move sends. A major trade would signal to the league, and to their own players, that Toronto is all in. That kind of confidence can be infectious, sparking a surge of momentum heading into the playoffs. Lessons from the past. Leafs fans have seen their fair share of trade deadline moves over the years, some more successful than others. From acquiring veterans to bolster playoff runs to making unexpected gambles, the franchise's history offers lessons for Treliving. The key will be avoiding the pitfalls of overpaying for short-term fixes while maximizing the impact of any new additions. The future of Fraser Minten. One of the most intriguing subplots is the development of Fraser Minten. The young center has shown flashes of brilliance but remains a work in progress.